Your flu shot this year doesn't cover the most common strain of the flu that's being reported. That's what the Center for Disease Control says. Bad news continues for the NFL as more players face charges for domestic violence. Today alone, the Minnesota Vikings and Carolina Panthers sidelined players for domestic violence cases. And we have a warning for Bradley County pet owners. A contagious virus that kills cats is rapidly spreading. Thanks for joining us. Well, Collegedale police identified the victim in the fatal plane crash from yesterday. It's our top local story. We have a warning about kids thinking that laundry detergent pods look a lot like candy. The DA's office opened their cold case unit back in October, and they tell me the Getchis brothers murder is one they think they can solve. Now, the second one would ban any abortion services in the city limits. Many people argued the abortion ban was unconstitutional. And when she did get to Finley Stadium, she says that's when the two suspects approached her. Now, they're about to extend the crime scene, so it looks like they might be looking a little further around this area to confirm what did happen. We'll be bringing you updates as they become available to us. This is about the time that Luther would be getting ready to go on air for our noon show with his list of community events and the lost pets all typed up on his typewriter. So very appropriate that this is the time that he's being buried today. Some strong lightning out there. We saw a really good touchdown about 30 minutes ago just in front of Signal Mountain behind me. It comes all down to this house here on Dodson Avenue. Now police are really clearing the scene. Hear a little bit of gunshots here, so we're going to get back a little bit. Sounds like a pop we just had, but it could have just been a car. It could have been something else. It looks like they shot tear gas right now. So we're here on the scene of the crash just off of Main Street in Ooltewah, where the pilot of this plane has been declared dead on arrival. The people here at Camp Columbus tell me they're either going to be the fools of the night or the heroes, depending on what happens. But so far, no rain. It's looking great out here. Polls close at 8 o'clock, so that means you have 1 hour to get down here. That's enough time for you to check out what your voting location is, get in your car, drive to that voting location, and cast your ballot. John, we are up here biting our nails because Edward Yates is 140 feet up high above the Tennessee Aquarium. The shoppers get to pick out 2 small items and 1 large item for each of the kids in their family. That way everyone has plenty of variety under the tree. One of the issues a no-kill shelter runs into is that more people are bringing animals in than adopting them out. Now, in order to get an idea of just how bad this traffic is, I'm going to time how long it takes me to drive from the Bonnie Oaks exit off 575 to the first entrance of Amazon. Finding a great deal on baby clothes can be very enticing, but don't put yourself at risk. Chattanooga police officials tell us how you need to stay safe. But I'm going to take you up right now for free. I spoke to one student off camera who tells me she was thirsty all day, but her teacher told her she couldn't use the water fountain because it was contaminated. Who do you think is better at coding, boys or girls?
Girls. Boys.
With their seatbelts on, the dummies stay securely inside the flipped vehicle, but with their seatbelts off, they're not so lucky. While police and pastors pray for peace downtown, this is a common scene in the Alton Park area. This vessel was one of 220 LSTs on the shores of Normandy on June 6, 1944, also known as D-Day. And these deaths are expected to have a widespread effect on people in the county, especially since all 3 of the teens went to different high schools. The Kids Safe House can actually simulate real smoke so kids can practice staying low and getting out quickly and safely. Chapman, the Speedway may be a good investment, but to the people of Cleveland, it's a priceless piece of property that they hope will see more cars on the track again soon. The whole family can stay connected. You don't have to call one another individually to say, hey, what's going on? You actually made a Facebook group for your family. This one seems to be a lot of fun for kids. It's called Snapchat. Now, here I am on camera. Here we all are. Wave, everyone. Now, Megan's going to go ahead and start taking a Snapchat with her phone, and she's going to send it to us. So we're all going to wait for this picture. Basically, what this does is it sends a picture to somebody on their phone, and they only have about 10 seconds to view this picture. So this is fun because you get a picture, and then it goes away forever. Well, here's the kicker to that. Tonight, we're looking at some dessert ideas for the vegan at your holiday party. Rashad Gover is here with the treats. Now, Rashad, when people think about holiday treats, they think about the milk, the eggs, the butter, the sugar. That's all the good stuff, right?
Yeah,
but vegans,
definitely.
Vegans don't eat any of that.
Vegans do not eat any of that.
Good evening, I'm John Mercer.
And I'm Caitlyn Jones. Thanks for joining us tonight. Chattanooga brings out the most visitors to the USS LST-325 that they've ever seen. The World War II ship that's been docked at Chattanooga Riverfront for the past week sails out in the morning, and the tour staff says they definitely want to come back. It's tonight's top local story. The Chattanooga Lookouts now have a new parent ball club. The Lookouts are now the new AA affiliate for the Minnesota Twins. The Lookouts had served as the Dodgers AA team since 2009, but LA told the Lookouts on Monday they plan to move their team. It didn't take Chattanooga long to find a new affiliate. They wrapped up a 4-year deal with the Twins this morning. Rick Nyman will have more on the Lookout's new marriage with the Twins coming up later in sports. Fort Payne police investigate what caused a wreck that took the lives of 2 people just after midnight. Officers found the car overturned and in flames. Firefighters got the 2 victims out. The driver was 23-year-old Miguel Jose Jr. He was taken to the hospital but passed away from his injuries. His passenger, 24-year-old Antonio Martin, also died. And no charges will be filed in a fatal wreck from yesterday in Wildwood. That's according to DiscoverDay.com. Officials say 76-year-old Shirley Boren pulled out in front of a tractor trailer on Highway 299. She died from her injuries while 86-year-old Fred Boren was taken to the hospital. The trucker was not injured. And the Dade County Sheriff's Office is now offering a free program that helps suspecting parents learn if their children are abusing drugs. Parents can now make an appointment to bring their child to the jail to be tested for illegal drugs. It's a urine test that gives the results within a matter of seconds. Sheriff Ray Cross says his county is experiencing a growing number of drug cases that are sending people to jail. Now, if a child does test positive, he or she will not be arrested. Instead, the sheriff's office will make recommendations to the parents on programs that offer help to kids who abuse drugs. A crowd of people showed up to their local grocery store but couldn't get in.
Everybody want to know what's going on with Sunnytown.
City officials say the fire marshal was forced to condemn and close Sunnytown Supermarket because of electrical violations and fire hazards. They also discovered a leaky roof, exposed wiring, even roaches and vermin. But for East Chattanooga residents, it's all they had. The owner didn't want to go on camera, but his customers were more than willing to speak on his behalf.
He always forever trying to help somebody. You know what I'm saying? You can go in there with $2 short, and then, you know, whatever item that you're trying to get and they ain't got enough money to pay for, he'll let you have it anyway. That's how good he is.
And without the store, residents have lost one of their only resources for groceries.
By the prices of gas being high, they're going to have to catch a bus. You know, like I said, it's convenient for the neighborhood, and it's going to be hard for them to get around.
This area is what's been referred to as a food desert, which means its residents have very little access to quality grocery. And with yet another store closing down, that desert just got a little drier. Councilman Yusuf Hakeem says the city has been aware of this problem for a long time.
The facts are that in the state of Tennessee, the area that's considered the worst food desert is in the East Chattanooga area. And I think we have to look at that and put emphasis on it to deal with that kind of situation.
He says they're in the works of trying to get a major grocery store to East Chattanooga, but until then, they'll use their mobile market to pick up as much slack as possible. A series of job losses in Fort Oglethorpe government began with an executive meeting leading up to an unexplained resignation from city manager Ronald Goulart.
Due to circumstances beyond my control, I herein respectfully submit my resignation as city manager of the city of Fort Oglethorpe.
Next, Mayor Lynn Long recommended Harold Silcox as the interim city manager. The council approved, and once the meeting adjourned, Silcox immediately got to work, firing Public Works Director Jeff Long and Police Chief David Eubanks.
I guess local politics, the dirty politics, but that's, I'll just notify my attorney and let him take it from there.
I would like to talk to you, but not at this time. Thanks.
Mayor Long wouldn't go into detail about what led up to Goulart's resignation.
Mr. Goulart, that was his decision to resign. That was not the council's decision. He made that decision.
But Goulart says the mayor gave him an ultimatum.
I was approached by the mayor and informed that he had the votes to terminate me, and would I go ahead and resign.
We asked the mayor about that conversation.
We don't talk about personnel issues around here.
He was tight-lipped when it came to his opinion of Goulart's work. His performance as a city manager, was he up to par? What, I mean,
So that was his decision to leave.
no, that wasn't the question. What did you think?
And that's the answer I gave you, though.
As far as reasoning behind the firings, Silcox also would not explain. You fired 2 people and you've just become the city manager.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any reason behind that?
Pardon?
Any reason behind that?
No, ma'am. That's the personnel manager.
Though little reasoning, the new interim city manager now has the authority to make the call on who's employed by Fort Oglethorpe.
I guess I'll go back to practicing law.
I know who's behind it. That's all I've got to say about that. I know who did it.
In Fort Oglethorpe, Caitlyn Jones, WDEF News 12.